if you're looking to improve your painting skills, one of the things I recommend doing is watching artists' time lapse. So today's video, I have a time lapse of how I painted this. So hopefully you'll learn some little tidbits that you can write down and make note of to improve your painting skills. Enjoy. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Kristina Moyer, and I'm an artist specializing in acrylic paints. For the last little while, I've been dabbling in watercolor and pastels, and I do love other mediums as well. But something about acrylics, I keep coming back. It's my kind of go-to. I feel probably most confident in, I can not even say that in a very confident way. In acrylic paints. I love them, and it's great to be back with them working on something a bit different than my norm. So landscapes are probably one of my favorite things to do. I just love life. I love things that display life, animals. So still life has never been my top genre of interest, but this was extra fun because it's part of a book series that I've been able to participate in creating the cover art for, and this is volume number 8. Wow, I'm super excited for this whole series. Every single time that we work on a new cover, I'm excited to do it. I'm excited to see it come into print, and I'm also the one that puts the book, like the interior design aspect of the book, and getting it into print that way. So digitizing my work and all of that. So I share all of these things on my channel too. So if you're new and you're not sure what's up, you can see some of that and enjoy and subscribe so you know what's going on. Now, last week we looked at the creative process and how I put this composition together. So if you're interested in that, go save this video for watching later and go check that one out, or vice versa. So here we're looking at how I'm putting things together. Now, sometimes you might see things jump forward a little bit. My apologies. I tried a different method where I wanted to make, different angles of what I'm working on so that it keeps it interesting. So not just one angle for the whole time lapse. So I held the camera in one hand and I was painting with the other hand and showing you the palette and then showing you up on the canvas and then put it into time lapse, sped it up, and I was like, whoa, this is going to make someone sick. So I deleted those portions, but luckily I didn't do too much of that. So as you can see, I start building up my painting, and acrylic paints work really well with this because they dry quickly. So I'll work in one color in various aspects of the piece. So I won't necessarily finish one spot and then move on to another object and finish that object. I will let things dry in between. So I'll do some layers and then maybe build up on another layer. And sometimes I'll work wet and wet so that I get kind of that blended look that maybe oils would give you. But for the most part, you kind of build with layers. And so I'll use a couple of colors, maybe variations of one color so that you do get that nice blend. And maybe I will focus on an object till it's done once you get to a certain point, or if I have certain colors mixed that work well with that. But if I've got a lot of different colors for an object, I might hold off and then kind of see if I have that other color elsewhere, that type of thing. So you kind of see how that happens. And you may notice I've worked on pretty much all the objects minus that vase and kind of the thing next to it looks like maybe a bar of soap or a little box. And it'll make sense in the future. In a moment, you'll see why, because of the detailing on that vase. It already has the right color as its background, so I don't need to do much more to that until I start adding all the details on that vase, because it's a very detailed vase. So for this particular piece, it was really fun to try something different. The book is all kind of a lot of action and people meeting and that kind of thing happen at this antique shop. So that's why I've done this still life, whereas all the other volumes minus the previous one pretty much are landscapes. And that's probably, like I said, one of my favorite types of paintings to do, just because I just love being outside. I take tons of photos of nature, and that's where most of my inspiration comes. So this was a challenge, but really fun to do. And I think it's great to challenge yourself when it comes to art, when it comes to being creative, because then you learn something new and you can take that with you into your other projects. Even what you normally do, what your fortes are. Like, I can learn something from this, and when I go to my next landscape, maybe I do it a bit differently based on what I learned with this piece. So hopefully I'm learning something with each piece I create. And that only happens, though, I think, when you challenge yourself. If you kind of just do the same thing all the time, then I can't imagine how that's going to help you learn anything new and help you grow. So here I start actually working on the vase. I sketched on my little design first, and I decided not to go too symmetrical with it because I just don't enjoy symmetrical things that much. It's difficult to do. And I guess I should probably challenge myself more with symmetrical items because, like I just finished saying, it's going to help me grow. So I think maybe I should do more of those things, I suppose. We'll see. So I start building on color, start building on the different detailing with smaller brushes. So you kind of start with larger brushes, then you start bringing them down into more detailed brushes, depending on the part of the painting you're working on. And so I start building and bringing some pink, which was really fun to do. Bringing bold, there's a bold red in there, along with a lot of these kind of browns, golds, that giving that antique vibe is really what I want for this. I want to have that feeling that you are looking at a display in an antique shop. And hopefully you get that vibe. Give me a thumbs up if you feel like that is the vibe you're getting. And what kind of genre? Let me know in the comments what your genre is, if you have a specific genre that you like to stick to when you're creating art. If you have maybe either a forte or just something you prefer to paint. I also really love painting animals. There's a life to them. There's personality. There's fun. And anything with eyes can really, draw you in. So I think that it's fun to do animals as well. I've done more of those, but most of what I photograph is, sunrises, sunsets, things that I see in nature. So yeah, this was a fun project to switch things up a little bit. And it's quite the joy to create something that is going to be a book cover. It's one thing when you paint something and you sell it, or, someone wants to make it into something after you've created it, but making something with the purpose in the first place, knowing that it's going to be in print, that people are going to read it. It's really cool. So much fun. And speaking of fun, these markers are so much fun. They work really, really well. I did not expect when I first got them, and I do have a video on how to use Posca paint pens, or just my first experience with them, and I bought like a set of 3 different sizes in black. And I don't know why, but I held off in buying any other colors. But when I knew I was going to be painting this vase and I had all these gold details and these antiques, I thought, okay, now's the time. So I got a set that has a lot of different colors. As you can see, I'm using some of them throughout just for the detailing at the end. And they're really nicely opaque. So I really had a lot of fun using these markers, and highly recommend giving them a try. If you use acrylic paints, it's worth giving a try. They will work on a lot of different surfaces, and I've used it on rock and wood and canvas, paper. It's just like an acrylic, paint. And it is an acrylic paint, but it's amazing because you don't have to recharge your pen. It's charged. So it works really, really well. And when I'm painting with, that kind of detail with a brush, I keep having to, dip the brush back in to the paint that I've mixed. But here we have the finished piece, and I'm just showing different angles of it. And as I kind of turn the camera around in different ways, you can see how the gold kind of looks, and all of the details and things that were added in. And I had a lot of fun doing it. So I hope that you think it's successful, and I'm excited to show you when I have it in print, when I get it into the whole design part of things and on Amazon. So you can go check out the other volumes if you're interested. And let me know what you think about this composition in the comments. And you can see I've signed it with the date and all the angles. I still need to paint the edges though. That still needs to be done. Other genres, compositions, subject matter will be approached differently, so go take a look at some of my other time-lapse videos to get a sense of how I'd approach different pieces, different compositions. And that will help you to understand how you can approach the work that you're doing and have a better sense of how to create a painting and what it takes to create something like this one that I created today. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. We'll see you next time. Bye now.